Shalom. Foremost, we give all praises and glory and honor that's due to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakadash. I want to give double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone that rule well. Blessings and salutations to the hopeful elect. Noise in his gospel, bro. Lifting up the standard of Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, wherever it may be. There's going to be a question, nothing too long. Side. And I say that on the account of being in this system, this kingdom. You have to understand that women have been given a false sense of power to rule over men in this world, because the way that this world operates on a vibration of who they call an antichrist or anti-Hamashiach, which antichrist just means against the truth, against anybody that worships Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai. Go around them, bro. It just means anybody that worships against Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai. So you got brothers, that, we've had women, or some brothers have children and have women, whatever, and they all the time bumping heads with them because there's a power struggle. Ultimate times there's a power struggle because the forwarding of the way of this world teaches against the law, statutes, and commandment Most High and His Son. So by nature, your manhood is going to war with her womanhood because she's been falsified into giving power. Now, when you go into Genesis, the 3rd chapter, when it says that thy husband should rule over thee, that's how it's supposed to be, because ultimately men were the leaders, we're the decision makers, we're the lawgivers, we're the disciplinarian figures, and we put things into perspective. And a woman, she follows suit, because the scriptures say, blessed be a man that got a woman that's out of his own mind. But the women in America, all the time, they forward their mindset, and they forward the mindset of the serpent, and all the time they come home and they push that on you. And when you in this truth, that's conflict of interest, man. Because, put it to you this way, the whole thing about Isaiah 4:1, right, which, we talk about pretty often because we're actually coming into those times. When you go into Isaiah 4:1, and I was listening to the elders yesterday, the elder Yashawamba, and that was a damn good lesson they did regarding men and women in this thing, because we're coming into some times now that things are getting ready to get tight. The squeeze is getting ready to catch harder. And you're going to have women coming from under the woodwork trying to get over brothers. And brothers have to be built up enough in the spirit to discern what's good for their situation and what's not. Because all the time, man, us in this captivity, men in general, we think with our dicks. And you got to think, beyond your rod, man. Because thinking with your dick first and your head later, that can get you oftentimes in a world of hurt, because you haven't vetted this bride. You don't know her backgrounds. You don't know her whereabouts. You don't know who she's been with before you. Hell, the bitch may even lie to you about having kids, and then you may fuck around and get this bitch pregnant. Now you stuck with a demon for the next 18 years because you was too busy trying to put this bitch on a leash when she wasn't worth that anyway, man. So you technically have no women here. So you brothers out there, you can't let these women push that shit on you, man. Oh, well, I know sex is marriage, marriage is sex, and we off this, that. You got to tell her, like, look, straightforward, like, man, look, you ain't no fucking virgin. And just because she's an Israelite woman, that don't mean she don't get that don't mean she gets a special treatment. And I say this because most of the women in this thing, they not right. Most of them were just busting down in the world maybe 6 months ago, and then you got some chicks in this thing that jump brother to brother, man. That's not saying that you meet a woman that's an Israelite and she's sincere, you treat her like she's a woman of the world. Hell no. Because if it benefits your situation, because remember, it's about you. If it benefits your situation, then of course, you deal with it, you vet it. And if it works out to y'all favor, then hey, that's a beautiful thing. Because when you go into marriage, it just means to join together. Families come together, and ultimately you become one with your wife, and y'all build from there. And that's going to take place on this side. Isaiah 4:1. But for a lot of women, man, that's in Israel, a lot of them are not right, and they're just looking to be covered because we're coming into some dark times, man. All right, so don't be simple out there and say, oh, because she got lashes on with a goddamn hair wrap, and she put fucking shea butter on her forehead and drawing her eyebrows and shit and got the little mean mug. Now you want to pop a Hebrew Keisha. Nah, bro, be smart. Be smart. And oftentimes pray. Because the scriptures say, before anything, seek out Yahweh Shem Yahushai, man. Wisdom. You know, at Yahweh Shem Yahushai, what's the intent of this woman? Is she on some nefarious shit? Or is she upright? Can I deal with her? And the Lord will let you know, man, if he's dealing with you. All right? Because what it tells us in Ecclesiastes 7:26, it tells us who hands is snares and nets, man. Her hands is as bands. So all the time, they're looking to trap your ass up. Because that's the nature of the woman. You know, to rule over you, to put you under her, and to forward her vibration of this world and put it in your mind, man. And, you know, us as men, we have soft spot for the women we deal with. So, you know, you may budge here and there and you may not think nothing about it. But before you know it, you done moved the whole goddamn mountain for this bride. And now your ass is in deep shit. This is why if you're going to take these women serious, you need to let them know what it is in the door. All right? Not saying that, oh, yeah, baby, I'm a Hebrew Israelite. I can have 1,000. And you ain't got to do all that. But you tell her straightforward, like, look, man, this is where I'm at. This is how I feel. And this is just the vibration I'm on. You know, like any chick that I took serious since I've been in this truth, I tell them straightforward, like, look, I ain't got no 10-year plan in America, man. I'm like, I live day by day as the spirit allows me to live. I'm like, I ain't got no marriages. I'm not joining house to house. We're not doing none of that. I don't even want fucking kids. You know, and if she can't get with that, then that ain't the woman for you. You know? Because it's not wrong wanting to be with your woman or the woman wanting to have children with you. It's not wrong, but that ain't my mindset right now. Especially in this world. I don't want to have any more kids. You know, I made that fucking mistake 14 years ago, and I told myself, if the spirit is with me, I would never do that again. And I hate to say it that way, but that's just what it is. You know? So that's just where I'm at. She has to be on your vibration. You know? See what you brothers post on the comment board. No, brothers probably lighting up. Brothers be loving these women video. And you know what, too? Another thing, too, for whatever reason, these be the videos that get the most views. It's always about the damn woman. And I get it, because men are really at the point they're frustrated. You know, they're flustered and they want to see judgment. Because one of the most bitter things in this captivity is the woman, man. Okay, because Esau took our other half and he weaponized it against us, man. So that's quite offensive. So these videos, they hit home a little bit. But nonetheless, that's not to say that the other videos we do push out is not just as edifying, man. All right, because they are. And if you tune into these videos, tune into the other ones as well. There's nothing wrong with that. You know? But this ain't about bashing women or hating women or none of that. We don't hate women. We actually love women. We just like them in their particular order, in their righteous order, if that make any sense. But anyway, GMS Tazabak Dakba Ban Yahawda 144K. Shalom, my brother. Psalms 82:5. It says, they know, matter of fact, let me do this. They're cutting it off. Put it on the screen. It says, they know not, neither would they understand, and they walk on in darkness, and the foundation of this world are out of course. It's right. It's completely out of course. Because like we mentioned, Esau forged the vibration of this world, this current evil, wicked world. Meaning, you know, elevating the woman, putting the children on a pedestal, elevating momoality, you know, putting yourself last. Like, it's a common thing that the father don't eat unless the children eat first. The children eat, then the mother eat, then the father eat. And sometimes the father might not even have a plate. But let's just say this. Let's just say, because food's supposed to give you energy, give you life. But let's just say, if I come home from work and she only made enough for the kids and the kids end up eating everything and she's 8 and I'm weak and I'm famished and somebody decides to break in the home, how the hell am I going to defend my house when I don't have any food for me, man? Right, you see? Because the mindset of this world is just total fucked up and backwards, man. You know, I should have been did that. These dudes got me slow as hell. You know, because the ways of this world are just fucking off and they're backwards, man. You know, same thing. Oh, ladies first. That's not in the scriptures. Now, it's nothing wrong with opening the door for your woman, you know, from time to time. But honestly speaking, you're supposed to go first. You know, because let's just say if it's a threat on the other side of the door and they grab her up, then they put you in a fucked up situation. You see? But they look at it as, nah, you're being too controlling. I remember this chick I was dealing with for some time, man. I mean, we was together for a long time. And I remember, man, I was fucking with her and we was going to the movies and I walked to the door and I kind of walked in first and she just got real offended by that. And I looked at her like back in my mind, I'm like, bitch, you already know what the fuck it is, man. Don't act it brand new. You know, but see, you got to deal with that bullshit here. Because this is the mindset of the serpent, you know, which is part of this world. This is why we have to operate on a vibration totally separated from this world, because we're not of this world, man. Okay, Yahweh Shai said if you were of the world will love his own. Because you're not of the world, therefore the world hated you, man. You know? Proverbs 14:11, it says, every wise woman buildeth her house, but the foolish plucketh it down with her hands. Right. And it could be as simple as a bitch not knowing how to shut the fuck up. Okay? Silence is virtue. The scriptures say that a silent and loving woman is a gift from Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. But you brothers be dealing with these nagging ass bitches, man. They be putting their hands on y'all. You know what I'm saying? Calling the fucking police on y'all, taking y'all kids. And, you know, I mean, we all go through it to some degree, you know? But you brothers, man, you been in this thing years. You ought to know better on what type of women to deal with and what not to deal with. Just because a bitch say, oh, Shalom, you my king, you my lord, doesn't mean she's serious, man. You know, don't mean she's serious. And you fucking around, you got a whole goddamn dragon in your house now that you can't get rid of. So now you can't kick it with brothers. You can never come out. We go out to have fun and do shit. You can never be around. You're never around. You know, and brothers see that shit, man. It's like, what the fuck are you doing? You know, scriptures say, forsake not the gathering of the saints. Here we go to camp, and then you rushing your ass home because you got this dragon you want to appease, or she's going to question you. Now, that's not saying that you don't want to be around your woman. You know, sometimes you may not want to be around brothers. I get it. Sometimes you may want to have a couple of weekends, like, I'm finna go home and kick it. Me and my chick finna go on a date. You know, we finna do what we do. Oh, shit. Oh, fuck. You know, we finna do what we gotta do. You know, but it be times, too, that, you know, sometimes you need to be around the brotherhood and get that male dominance back, man. But you gotta run home. You gotta take care of the kids. You know, when that should be her damn job. You know, you got to find a babysitter here and there, man. Look, we coming into some times, man, that we going to have to operate outside of that shit, man. Okay, if you can't handle a situation, scriptures say, why afflict thyself on thy own counsel? If you're putting too much into your situation, then you need to reevaluate what the hell you're doing, man, because you would destroy yourself. Okay, it's time and time again, we have to have these talks, you know, for exhortation purposes, not to break brother's spirit down, but to bring it into perspective and make it realistic, man. Okay, because if you're not seeing what the Lord is forming, then you just gonna miss out, and before you know it, you're just gonna be in an unfavorable predicament, and we're not in them times, man. Okay, to be in these unfavorable situations, especially with these wicked ass women, man. But anyway, let me get a couple more of these precepts, then I'm gonna end it. I'm actually at my destination. And I don't understand, brothers, when y'all put the precepts, I don't know, Esau likes to mess with the live stream. It cuts off half the precept. So if I'm reading it and I'm skipping over it, it's probably because he cut off half the precept. You know, so Salaki about that as well. But, you know, that ain't my fault. Esau likes to fuck with the live streams, man. So, you know, it tends to happen. But anyway, give me 1 second. Let me bring out a couple more of these precepts. And we'll end it. All right. Anyway, let's do this. I'll bring out maybe 2 more. Where we at? Timothy. Yep, Timothy 3:6. Yep, Sirach 33 and 20. 33 and 18. Let's start here. And it says, hear me, O ye great men of the people. It says, and hearken with your ears, ye rulers of the congregation. Come on, man. Live chat. It says here, give not thy son and thy wife and thy brother and friend power over thee as long as thou livest. And thou entreat for the same again. It says, and as long as thou livest and has breath in thee, give not thyself over to any. So you're not supposed to give yourself over to anybody in this thing, man. If it ain't Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, don't give yourself over to that light spirit, because it can destroy you. It says, for it is better that thy children to seek to thee than for thou to stand for that courtesy. Roughly paraphrasing, because I can't see it all. All right, but it says, in all thy works, to keep thyself in preeminence, leave not a stain in thy honor. You know what I'm saying? So overall, man, you got kids. A lot of times, you know, men will run out their way for kids and their children. Well, that's my kid, brother. I get it. But if it's to the point that it's going to destroy you and it's going to push you into oblivion, then fuck that shit, man. Let them figure that shit out. So what? You may have to go through the thing of being called a deadbeat or this and this and that. So fucking what, man? You know what I'm saying? The hell with this world and how they feel. You know how you doing. You're serving your how about Shimmy how shy, and that's all that fucking matters, man. You know what I'm saying? Don't worry about it. Let the Lord sort everything out. But anyway, I'm gonna end it giving all praises and glory and honor that's due to you. How about Shimmy how shy by Shimmer Kakwadash. Lord's will, you were edified. Until the next lesson. Shalom. Abal Babal. Kwam Yasharala. Shalom.